Trump official Stephen Miller just went head-to-head with a smug CNN anchor who thought she could corner him intellectually over Trump's executive authority and the rogue judges that are issuing national injunctions in the hundreds. Instead, she just got wrecked on national television. But before we unpack this story, please be sure to like, comment, and share Explain America. When the corporate press melts down, we've got your back with common sense journalism and receipts. Here's what happened. In a fiery exchange, Miller shut down CNN's activist journalist Pamela Brown and her framing about separation of powers and rogue judges. And, well, Miller had a doozy of a response, and she didn't know what to say. Watch this.
Last few weeks, yet even just yesterday we saw whenever a judge rules against this administration, you say they're going rogue. Do you think a judge should just rubber stamp what your White House does? If not, what checks and balances do you think should be in place for this White House?
It is not the job of a district court judge to perform an individual green light or red light on every single policy that the president takes as the head of the executive branch. Just think about the premise baked into your question, respectfully, Pam. You're saying that when the American people elect a president of the United States of America,
I'm not saying
well, it's the implication, who is the sole head of the executive branch. Well, let me finish. I will answer the question happily. But look, when you have these kinds of lazy assumptions built into questions, it makes it hard to have a constructive dialogue.
What is a lazy assumption? I said you all had to win.
You said no. You said, is it my expectation?
I'm speaking because now you're putting...
You said, is it my expectation? It's not just you. It's the whole media. In other words, when you hear a sentence like...
It is a completely fair question. You say judges who rule against the White House
and I will gladly answer it. When you say, do we think district court judges should rubber stamp each action? There is a premise that is built into that is absurd. The president is the sole head of the executive branch. He's the only officer in the entire government that's elected by the entire American people. Democracy cannot function. In fact, democracy does not exist at all if each action the president takes, foreign policy, diplomatic, military, national security, has to be individually approved by 700 district court judges. That's democracy. So if there's 15 communist crazy judges on the court, that each of them as a team working together can block and freeze each and every executive action. Joe Biden was allowed by that same court system
Some of them are Trump judges,
20 million
though.
illegal foreigners.
Why did Trump put these crazy communist judges, as you call them, on the bench?
You heard President Trump himself say that the Federal Society and Leonard Leo has created a broken system for judicial vetting. And God knows this time around, we are not going to be using...
So does that mean he doesn't support picking Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court?
What it means is simply this and nothing more. We're not going to be using the Federal Society to make judicial nominations at all going forward.
So just in case you missed it, the question he asked, so what you're saying is each individual action by a president, it has to be individually approved by 700 district court judges? Well, she didn't have any good response. But he didn't stop there. They got into a tussle about the definition of illegal aliens. And well, this is refreshing because it's time to just admit the truth. They want open borders. They want illegal immigration. They don't care if the term is illegal migrant or foreign national or whatever. Undocumented migrant is their term that they like so much. Well, the fact is that they're breaking the law and they're coming into the United States. And just watch Miller flip the script on her.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted a stunning allegation saying that an undocumented migrant sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that. But this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified that.
You said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there.
That's
getting away from the question, Stephen. I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
An
illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another date.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
They were set up, just to be clear. But quickly,
So
where is the White House on habeas corpus?
The illegal alien was treated unfairly. Yes, I'm sure the illegal alien was treated very unfairly.
Where is the White House on
And perhaps the most hilarious thing about this exchange is Dana Bash trying to come to Pamela Brown's rescue, trying to pump up her intellectual bona fides, well, because she got totally demolished on air. Watch this.
For the record, there is nothing lazy about Pamela Brown in any way, particularly when it comes to her intellect. Let's discuss what we just heard and more with our terrific group of reporters here. CNN's David Chalian, Jasmine Wright of Notice, Laura Barron-Lopez of PBS NewsHour, and Nia Malika Henderson of CNN. And
now that's hilarious. But if you are tired of fake news journalism like CNN, well, you have an alternative. You have the common sense journalism of Explain America, and we're going to be working around the clock to bring you the best stories, the most interesting developments, and we really appreciate your support. So like, comment, share, join. We really appreciate your getting our back. Thank you very much.